we want to get to. So we know that at the end of the day, we are going to take all the policy suggestions, discuss it, and influence policy, advocate for some of these policies to be implemented. And I hope at the end of the day, if we are able to take some of these suggestions, Ghana will not come back next year, next 2 years, or next 3 years to talk about joblessness and unemployment. So on that note, I accept to chair the function, and I thank IFS for inviting me to do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think I have to relocate your sitting, one of the seats in front. So please put your hands together for Professor William Babawateng, who is the chairman for today's occasion, which happens to be live on a number of media houses. I'm very sure we are live on all the EIB platforms. We are live on Star FM. We're live on GH1 TV. We certainly are live on City TV and a few other media houses. And so please smile. You're on TV. You are live on TV. So be happy. I always tell people, if you're at an event which is live on TV and you're not supposed to be here, just keep the mask on. You don't want your boss seeing you here when you're not supposed to be here. But we're very grateful you've joined us. This is the IFS Economic Forum, and it's the Ghanaian dream, transforming the economy through the creation of jobs and opportunities for all. In many ways, unprecedented, because as a journalist, it's not very easy to get somebody like our main speaker for today to interview, because he has both the monetary and then, of course, the fiscal. There are very few people in our country with that level of experience. Governor and then finance minister. Those are two parts of the same equation. And then to even make it more exciting, in a tripod, he's an entrepreneur. And so it's a rare privilege. I want to thank all of you for being here, and we hope we give you a good program. Let me briefly introduce our key speaker. There's so many things to say about him. I'll highlight a few of the points. Of course, he was the finance minister of Ghana, served as governor of the Bank of Ghana, was named as one of the 4 best central bank governors in the world at the 99 spring meeting of the World Bank. This is 1999. Now, he is a fellow of Kwabena Duffuor, University of Ghana, and also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers. He's founder and chairman of Hoda Holdings, a business entity comprising insurance, banking, real estate, farming, mining, and most recently media. He's also the founder and president of the IFS, Dr. Kusi spoke about that, a non-profit think tank providing economic advocacy training, established March 2013. He's also the founder of Unibank, which controversially collapsed in 2018. Now, his secondary education was at Prempeh College in Kumasi in Ashanti region of Ghana. He proceeded to the University of Ghana, Legon, graduated in 1968 with a BSc in economics, postgraduate studies Syracuse University, New York, where he obtained a Master of Business Administration in Finance and Banking from the prestigious Maxwell College, #1 ranked for public leadership training, and an MA in economics in 1975. His PhD in international finance was in 1979 at the same university. He entered Prempeh College a year after Ghana's independence, 1958, on a Ghana Cocoa Marketing Board scholarship, where he obtained both his A-level and his A-level certificates. So he didn't go to Prempeh SHS. He went to Prempeh College. In 1968, he had his degree in economics, as we said, and he also worked briefly with VRE, and after his PhD, he worked with GCB, obtained a USAID African Graduate Fellowship Award to pursue further studies at Syracuse in New York, where he had his MBA in finance and banking, as we said. His working career started in 1969 with the Ghana Commercial Bank, rose to become chief economist, head of research department. Between 1982 and 1991, he worked full-time as a banker, was part-time lecturer in economics, finance and banking at the economics department and the School of Admin at the University of Ghana. So you can bring him back to do some lectures for the PhD students if he has the time. He was appointed external examiner in finance from 1985 at the university. And in 1995, when I was writing my BEC, he became a deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. 2 years later, the president at the time, Jerry John Rawlings, Excellency, appointed him governor of the central bank, held that position till his 4-year term ended September 2001. Now, at Ghana Commercial Bank, he rose through the ranks, becoming general manager and head of London branch in 1991. Under his tenureship at the GCB London branch, it registered a very impressive growth. The bank's profit soared from £1.5 million in 1991 to £3.6 million 3 years later, 94. Consequently, the income expense ratio dropped from 75% in 91 to 55% by the end of 94. During the same period, he led a group of international banks, including the Chemical Bank London, Standard Chartered Bank London, in arranging a syndicated loan of $140 million for Ghana Cocoa Board and $65 million for GMPC. And by 1994, the GCB London had become so visible in the city of London that he was invited to the prestigious annual dinner of the Lord Mayor of London at Mansion House on 14 June 1994. A year later, he was appointed deputy governor, as we said, and as deputy governor, he focused on restructuring government accounts, human capital development, commercial banking services and treasury services, and forex market development of the bank. He again initiated the introduction of two-way quotation system, which is the offer bid rates in foreign exchange transactions in the bank, and thereby removed the subsidiary of users of foreign exchange. In 96, he arranged $100 million syndicated facility with Societe Generale London for the government of Ghana through the Ministry of Finance. And then he was appointed substantive governor in 97, driving those reforms through, including a conversion of the Ghana Commercial Bank London branch into the UK incorporated bank, the Ghana International Bank PLC, in March 1998. He has numerous board engagements, a few to mention: chairman of the Presidential Committee on Promotion and Revitalization of the Industrial Sector on Sustainable Basis. In 2003, the government of Ghana and Denmark jointly appointed him chairperson of the Programs Committee for Business Sector Program Support, BSPS, which the Danish government sponsored for the Ghanaian private sector development between 2003 and 2008. He is currently the chairman of the Ghana Heart Foundation and Kumewu Man Rural Bank. Also served in a number of directorship positions, including various companies, including Accra Brewery, Shell, Ecobank Cote d'Ivoire, State Gold Mining, Ghana Cocoa Board, Ashanti Goldfields Limited, and the Ghana International Bank PLC. A few things on his politics: member of the CPP, before appointed finance minister in the John Atta Mills NDC government from 2009 to 2012. A few awards include Personality of the Year 98 by Independent Newspaper, same year Marketing Man of the Year, CIMG, named one of the best 4 central bankers in the world by Euromoney publication at IMF meeting in Washington 2002, honored by GCB for 26 years of loyal service. So many awards, we can't go through all, but ladies and gentlemen, serial entrepreneur, economist, finance man, banker, and a statesman, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, our key speaker for today. Let's rise, let's put our hands together for him as we welcome him to come and deliver the Ghanaian dream, transforming the economy through creation of jobs and opportunities for all. Are you putting your hands together? While he makes his way, we want to acknowledge a few people. We want to acknowledge a few people who are here with us from various parts of the country. We want to acknowledge Kwame Wadakun. Kwame, thank you for coming. We want to acknowledge Honorable Sylvester Mensah. Thank you for being here. Baba Kamara, thank you, sir, for being here. We've acknowledged already Right Honorable Doa Jaho. From the UPSA, Professor Ibrahim Mohammed, thank you for being here. Captain K.A. Buta, thank you for being here. Professor Kusi, we've acknowledged you already. Professor Ochiri Yabua, UGBS, thank you for being here. And all our friends from various parts of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, let's receive our keynote speaker, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, with a round of applause. Please be seated.
102.5 FM. Ajibabia.
I'm sure you are all a bit confused as to where he is.
Kasapa.
Also want to acknowledge YB
FM.
Jan of IFS. If I mention your name, just give us a wave wherever you are. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Former organizing secretary of the NDC. When they say YB Jan, it sounds like a YB in MPP. So you are YB. You are Boatin Jan. Yes. Oh, you are Boatin Jan. Okay, the mask. Sorry. You look like somebody else. We're live on City TV. We're live on TV3. We're live on GH1. We're live on Star FM. We're live on Ghana Web. We're streaming on Mercury FM. We're live on Power FM. We're live on ZionFelix.com and Asempa FM. We're also live on Joy Live. We're live on Net2. We're live on Kesben TV, Oxy FM, News Guide Africa, and Green Light Productions. We're live on all these media platforms. We're also live on Daily Graphic as well. So multiple channels are streaming this program. We'll take a short break. When we come back, our keynote speaker will join us with his presentation. Thank you very much indeed.
God's Love Herbal Hospital, ye great ampa. Orafo, besen and saying, Makuma to be bomb peri. Kakra no ma bre, mensa ne mena timi ya metiti. Nodophobia HM and Dr. Ahajiho, what God's Love Herbal Hospital. Nam sim koduano, anwasem, onfidie, any lab, I would draw ye pay you and Sunday dia do account crano. Emma yadia asset to be to preoccupy. Messy, yadia be a etituano, for any HM God's Love Herbal Hospital. What dawa, nisege, aplawo quantum ponisu. Which the comba consul, our asamanka say, new antimatter one more. Bonsu on the bench fitano and a D admission. And I just or enam obisufie. Fred Dr. RG was 0246 938 896 and 020 180 0763. God's Love Herbal Hospital. We are the light to your health.
Trani say, onya misuma huni fi we jo nyankopon wanim eni se obi hwe enwisia enyanka eni ekunafo wo wa ho hiehia mu muslimi Quran nso kire yen se ya ma ekunafo nyina eni nyi ni senti ena no mu ekunafo mumre ni o kasapa 102.5 eni ago TV ye ni aboafo ni etiefo nyina e ka bom ama mo asere ewo ekunafo se de adwumadie yi mu ekunafo se de adwumadie yi beba so lemneda 4th December afiyemu na dwumadie ya se ekunafo bedidi na wanom na wani age na ye be register won National Health Insurance free ye be ya free health screening any eye screening ama won want ya hwe na ekunafo benya chede pii so apiso enti enonum ekunafo homa ye nyina nhia kasapa car park a eben Kani Glens Night Club wadabraka na ebe ye nigye nkoa efrise ekunafo besere kasapa 102.5 Ajibabia.
Where are my bregu? And Tisika Bebe Mr. de Passa, singing na yakwa.
The piano soon yavreho ya and a subio.
Missy Wafa. And young Crophobia me quaco to assassin of one and Nalanga Dabe Pamumia free massas way.
Onkwana ho ewa Nazareth na Ghana we ho ha ye kan munti aso dinti bebia wakusi. Adom Hills Properties aba wo boa manfo nti wa manone. The way nyina nse woto asase amanso bia nu a Langas eme ha wadwen. Eno achi wode nkrata etoso se ne be ya brebia obi ba wo nkrata betime dia danse na ho ato. Estate houses ya ye kan dia asisi se ya bansoro dentia otombi. Eno achi no so wajapade kora wo ho na peso ho ajapade mu duru se siti a wobekire no wagina so abon donkomi am obi etimi abeto building materials ade wode besi dan ni nyina no eno so nsabetimi akabi afri won chen wasi bura nyan kura no no ma no eye donkomi a watete so enti wobetimi afra won awo 054 083 2745 and as 057 5765109 obehu acha kwan Budumburam Big Apple Upper Road Blue Rose Junction.
I love coming to the beach, catching good vibes, relaxing and chilling with my refreshing Superstar multi-fruit juice drink. So refreshing. Never stops. Oops, trouble in paradise? doesn't need to be this stressful. Catch! Nothing like a chilled bottle of Superstar to bring the happiness back. Aww. And for our future superstars, wow, good job, guys. Who wants a drink? Me! There you go. Everybody loves Superstar multi-fruit juice drink because it tastes so good. Oh, yeah. These are the moments you never forget.
Grab a bottle of Superstar multi-fruit juice drink today.
This advert is FDA approved.
Trani say, onyamisuma huni fi we jo nyankopon wanim eni se obi hwe enwisia enyanka eni ekunafo wo wahohiahia mu muslimi Quran nso kire yen se yema ekunafo nyina enyi ni senti enanum ekunafo mumre ni o kasapa 102.5 eni ago TV yeni aboafo ni etiefo nyina e ka bom ama mo asere ewo ekunafo se de adwumadie yi mu ekunafo se de adwumadie yi beba so memneda 4th December afiyemu na dwumadie ya se ekunafo bedidi na wanom na wani age na ye be register won National Health Insurance free ye be ya free health screening any eye screening ama won want ya hwe na ekunafo benya achede apie so enti enonum ekunafo muma ye nyina nhia kasapa car park eben Kani Glens Night Club wadabraka na ebe ye nijie nkoa efrise ekunafo besere kasapa 102.5 Ajibebia
Kasapa 102.5 FM Ajibebia.
Few words from Professor William Babwatin, but to allow you to settle, Prof. Bebobosu Kakra, I'll re-invite the chairman for the occasion, Professor William Babwatin, to share a few quick highlights of what he expects before we bring Dr. Duffuor back again to bring us his keynote speech. Put your hands together for Professor Babwatin one more time.
Thank you very much, Ben. And I thank IFS for inviting me to chair this program. And as I indicated, I'm very delighted to be here, not because the speaker is personally known to me as an uncle, but it's because he is an alumnus of the Department of Economics, University of Ghana, the department that I head. And also the contribution that he's been making to the growth and development of the department, having sponsored and continue to sponsor two awards for best graduating students, female and male. And of course, we are looking for more support anyway. So coming here means that it opens door for the department to get more support and also have permanent collaboration with him in person and also with IFS. So that at least we will all help to move the country forward. And more importantly, the topic that we are going to discuss is very important. We always talk about economic growth, which is the key objective of macro economics. We talk about price stability. We talk about balance of payment. But the most important one, which is the desired level of employment to be achieved, we normally forget about it. So if you ask me what is the rate of inflation, I will be able to tell you. What is the projected growth that the budget seeks to achieve, I will be able to tell you. If you tell me the current reserves, foreign reserves that we have, I will be able to tell you. But if you ask me to tell you what is the number of people who are looking for jobs or who are unemployed, I can only tell you that there are about 810,000 people in 2017, because that is the latest figure that I can give you. So which means that we haven't paid much attention to this. And I am very happy that the lecture will focus on job creation to be able to alleviate the problem of unemployment. And therefore, at the end of the day, the suggestion, the policy suggestion that will come out, I have seen here the speaker will be able to advocate for some of these policies to be implemented. We will discuss it and be able to influence policy as it were. So on that note, I thank IFS for asking me to chair this function. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor William Babwating. So without wasting further time, it is my distinct honor to welcome upstage a four-dimensional man, economist, banker, businessman, statesman. Ladies and gentlemen, our lecturer and speaker for today, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor. Please rise and welcome him with a round of applause. Thank you.
Please. Thank you, Bernard, for all the nice things you said about me. Mr. Chairman, Executive Director of the IFS, and my eminent economist in the IFS, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, 29th November is a special day in my family calendar. It's because that day, in the morning, the Lord showed his amazing favor on my family by giving me two girls, twins, that morning. I went to hospital, I saw the girls smiling at me, also happy. The family has never been the same since that day. I thank God for everything. 29th November is also the birthday for our former president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Your Excellency, happy birthday. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today is a very important day. Today, I have decided to share a few thoughts on the state of our economy and what all of us need to do to achieve a sound macroeconomic environment which will ensure the low rate of inflation, stable and appropriate exchange rates, high output growth rates, and in fact, more importantly, low rates of unemployment. Distinguished, even though between 2005 and 2012, Ghana registered an impressive economic growth. Ghanaians are still going through enormous hardships. Most or much of it linked to a persistent unemployment crisis and low quality of employment, especially among the country's young population. For a young man or young woman in our country right now, finding a good job is simply an uphill struggle. The truth of the matter, and the truth that must be told, is that our youth are now exposed to high unemployment,
poor job conditions, and a mismatch between their skills and what the labor market is looking for. They don't have. There is therefore a continuous widening gap between the aspirations of our young people and adequate employment opportunities. My dear guest, it must be removed now so that we can ensure inclusive opportunities in the labor market. Our policymakers must ensure that our young women and young men have requisite education, and which in turn will make them more stable economically and socially. The inability to create good jobs and indeed sustainable jobs for the young people will exacerbate the problem of inequality and exclusion, which is dangerous. It's also an issue of gross economic inefficiency, which has ramifications all through the system. Joblessness, my dear guest, leads to not only poverty, but higher crime rates, and increase in mental and physical trends. Don't do well economically. Thus creating a vicious cycle of inequality and loss of opportunities. Furthermore, high and long duration of unemployment does not only translate into loss of national output, but also deprives the state of tax revenue that would have been obtained from taxes on incomes if these young people had gainful employment. The public and private sector of our economy must invest in education and training of these people. Mr. Chairman, without transformation of the current economic structure, employment opportunities remain limited. A review is therefore needed of the country's education and training systems so that they can equip our young people with the requisite cognitive and soft skills and ethical values needed to thrive in the changing global labor market. Mr. Chairman, this lecture is asking for a complete transformation of the current economic structure. Innovative, critical thinkers, and technologically adaptable in the
Kasapa 102.5 FM.
technologically driven, changing global labor market. Mr. Chairman, this lecture is asking for a complete transformation of the current economic structure of our national economy, and they need to reposition this economy in a very formidable manner so that it will be in a position to achieve faster growth and create decent and sustainable jobs for the youth. As a result, the measured national rate of unemployment, which Prof talked about, is about 8.4%, as found in 2017, according to this is the most recent data we have from Ghana Living Standards Survey, it doesn't seem really worrying. That's what I see. But there's a real the youth unemployment is a pressing issue. With those in the 15 to 24-year group facing an unemployment rate of 18.5%. This means those in this group ready for employment within this group will not get a job to do. The situation is even more acute in the urban areas, where the unemployment rate of this group is about 27.1%, as compared to 11.4% in the rural areas. High youth unemployment is, however, just one aspect of Ghana's jobs challenge. Certain characteristics of the employed population also indicate a shortage of good quality, stable jobs with stable incomes, as well as presence of skills gaps and other constraints that hinder the ability of many people to be more productive in their work or to move from lower productivity range to higher productivity jobs. For instance, among the employed, Mr. Chairman, 66% are in vulnerable employment, meaning they earn little and their jobs are insecure. 66%. About a quarter of such people are unpaid family workers, while the rest are in various forms of self-employment with irregular incomes and susceptible to shocks. In addition, there's a high incidence of underemployment affecting 21.4% of the employed population. Taken together, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this indicates pervasive disguised unemployment within our workforce. Linked to this is the low rate of formal employment or the high rate of informal employment, which, apart from its negative impact on the stability of work and earnings of those employed, restricts government revenue mobilization from income taxes. Since the incomes of workers, the informal sector, are hard to tax directly. You understand why our revenue is going down. A major limitation to moving people from the low productivity or vulnerable employment to better quality jobs is their educational attainment and skills set. This because as much as 20% of the employed population have had no formal education, while 54% have basic education only, and just 26% has secondary or higher education. The creation of decent, high quality, and sustainable jobs for the youth should therefore be at the top of the Ghanaian government's policy agenda. The strategies employed will have to address not only the need for new jobs, but also the need to improve the quality and sustainability of existing jobs, and the need for new and improved skills in the workforce. Putting more people to work in good jobs will yield higher income and social payoffs. As decent, sustainable employment produces decent, sustainable incomes, which improve the tax base and relieve the government or the state to provide welfare and safety net services. As we continue our discussion today, my guests, we mustn't forget that behind all these numbers I'm talking about, and policies are real people with real hardship. And it is our responsibility as a nation to address. Mr. Chairman, a job is much more than an income. It is a key to dignity, self-reliance, and empowerment. A job will allow a person to dream, to plan, to challenge oneself, and to build and support a family who in turn will go on that journey. That's the Ghanaian dream. And it should be available to all, regardless of his or her background. Today, we will speak about how we best get there and how to create a foundation on which our nation grows and flourishes, and where no man, a woman, or child is left behind. So, Chairman, let's look at our vocational education and how we strengthen it to support job creation. A critical challenge facing Ghana now is the development of workforce and a sustained economic growth with decent jobs, as I've said already, for our country to compete and grow in this era of economic integration, transformation, and technological change. The Ghanaian youth needs skills acquisition through technical and vocational training, which is geared towards the world of work and acquisition of employable skills. However, in the past, as a nation, we did not pay the same attention to technical and vocational training like we did to our universities. And I regret to say that the neglect of technical and vocational training over the years might have contributed to the high unemployment and rising poverty among the youth because many of them lack basic job skills. Mr. Chairman, high youth unemployment and prevalent skills gaps within the Ghanaian labor force thus underline the necessity of vocational education and training to improve the employable skills of young people and ease their transition into the labor market or higher productivity jobs. Vocational training and education, which includes training offered in institutions as well as on the job through apprenticeship, widens the options for skills acquisition by young people and meets the needs of those not suited for traditional education-oriented types of work. Indeed, a strong focus on this type of education enabled countries like Germany, United States, and China to build a solid manpower base for their digitalization drive, helping them to become workshops of the world and achieve real economic growth and prosperity. Some countries such as South Korea and the US have also used vocational education training as a form of active labor market policy to redress higher unemployment and structural labor market problems during and after severe recessions. All this means that Ghana must place vocational education and training at the center of job creation strategies so as to successfully address high youth unemployment and skill gaps in the workplace. This calls for investment in vocational education in formal institutions, where the training provided should be aligned with labor market conditions and requirements. We train our youth and they cannot work in the industries because we have not linked the training to requirements in the market. The government should work with employers to determine these requirements and establish a program whereby employers can provide practical on-the-job experience to the trainees. And to ease their transition into work, the government should support these trainees using already available institutional channels to establish businesses in the formal system and contribute more meaningfully to the tax system and national development. The youth is the future of the country. And we owe to them to provide them the opportunity to succeed. The Ghanaian dream should be achievable by all, and we must create several entryways into the jobs market to make sure that every Ghanaian has a fair chance. Mr. Chairman, may I spend a few minutes on the high cost of bank lending and job creation? It's been a problem we should talk about every day. Mr. Chairman, the Bank of Ghana's policy rate now is 14.5%. Meanwhile, the lending interest rate for commercial banks in our country stays at 22%. Whereas the lending interest rates for neighboring countries, namely Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Togo, all stay at about 5.1%. Ours 22, there's about 5.1%. The main issue is that the commercial bank's lending rate in Ghana has remained stubbornly high for decades. And the high cost of borrowing has continued to pose a real challenge to Ghanaian business community. The high cost of bank credit in Ghana results from the cost of servicing credit in the Ghanaian banking industry, which has also been influenced all these years by the following. 1, cost of deposits. 2, cost of loan defaults, the non-performing loans. 3, cost of overheads, operational cost in the banks. And 4th, cost of liquidity. And it should be pertinent to point out that the central bank's policy rate impacts slightly on the cost of funds. Precisely, the central bank policy rate impacts slightly on the cost of deposits. It is a combination of these costs which determines the cost of funds in a bank, and not the Bank of Ghana's policy rate. The bigger commercial banks in our country have huge demand deposits accounts, of which we at times refer to as transactional accounts, on which they pay virtually no interest. The smaller commercial banks don't have huge demand deposits. They have huge time deposit and savings, on which they pay huge interest. So the larger commercial banks have lower cost of funds, and the smaller commercial banks have higher cost of funds. Now, what's happening is that we have more smaller banks than the larger banks. But because the smaller banks have high cost of funds, and the bigger ones have smaller and lower cost of funds, and the smaller banks dominate the credit market, the bigger banks sell their credit at the higher cost of the smaller banks. In other words, they enjoy lower cost of funds or sell their credit at a higher, because there are very few. This is an issue confronting all of us. And until we have a very effective public intervention to create a level playing field in the entire bank credit market for both the larger and the smaller banks, will not enjoy a lower cost of funds in the country. By creating a level playing field for both the larger and the smaller banks, the cost of funds will go down. Any attempt to force the Ghanaian banks to lend like the neighboring countries around us will destroy the country because it will not be practical. Mr. Chairman, we want to be a nation of entrepreneurs, and in order to achieve that, we have to give people a realistic chance to start and maintain businesses. And the first step in doing so is lowering the cost of borrowing, which I've said will require intervention by government. Shall we look at the agriculture and agro-processing and job creation in our country? Ghana's agricultural sector